Welcome to First Blood Podcast, Episode 2. I am your host, Josh, and today we have Aviator, say hello,
Hello, hello.
and Father.
Oh, what's up? Hi there, cuties.
So one thing you may notice is that we have 3 jungle mains, 2 good people and a bad person. I'll let you guys figure out who they are.
It's Aviator.
Yeah, yeah, pretty much.
I'm the worst.
Yeah, so we're gonna go over the jungle, as the jungle has been a pretty hot topic lately, within the league community, as it used to be a very strong carry role, but now it's just seen as a more of a supportive role as of late. So I guess let's start out with the current meta, which is the more gank focused / support style. What are your guys' thoughts on that?
So like the meta right now is pretty much you ban Graves and you either pick Lisa and Elise or Kha'Zix, and I guess Rengar's in there too. But pretty much is like if you're ahead, you rush Mobies and camp 1 or 2 lanes. If not, you could also pick Ivern if you ban out like Kha'Zix or Graves.
Ivern's always perma-ban, dude.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, but Ivern's pretty much always permaban, so good luck ever getting the trash dog shit champion. But yeah.
So do
I don't know.
you actually think Graves is still good? Because personally, I'm playing a lot of Graves like back when it was actually stupid strong with the XP and whatnot. I don't find him as strong as before, mainly because
I'll share with you a little secret, and I did this like for the past 3 days, and I pretty much only lost like 2 Graves games.
Oh yeah.
Instead of taking attack speed blues, you take all scaling MR blues.
Mm-hmm.
You take 9% attack speed on your quints, and then you take a plus 2% experience gain on your quints.
Really?
And then the rest is just all, and yeah. And then you try to choose our camp if you can't. Just start Raptors, go red, and then full clear your bot side or whatever your blue side's on. And then you get gank a lane. If you get a kill there, you pretty much just win the game.
I'm going to try that out.
I know I've seen Lyra do the XP Quint on Graves. He did Raptors, red, and Scuttle into blue buff invade.
Yeah, because you get level 3 already. It's
fucked over. I think it was Santorin that he did it to, and it just fucked him over for the rest of the game. And he was super ahead.
So do you get level 3 off of the Scuttle?
Yeah, you get level 3 off of like.
Really, that's insane.
But like, only if you run the XP Quint.
Yeah, well, yeah. You only get it if you run the XP Quint.
And I think it's pretty bad on other junglers too. I think it's only good on Graves.
Well,
it's pretty good on Elise.
Well, yeah, I think Elise is an exception just because her ganks are very, very strong. Like early, like Elise coming to your lane early is like stupid scary.
Yeah.
It's gonna force a summoner most of the time unless you're bad at Elise.
Yeah, pretty much. If there's guaranteed CC, end up forcing a flash. I don't really I want to touch up upon Ivern, since I don't understand that champion to the least. Like, unless he's on my team, I know that he'll give me shields, buffs, and then like sometimes he'll summon this broken thing that we can tower dive with. Can you talk about Ivern, please, for me, Aviator? Because I actually don't know what that dog shit champion does.
All right. Well, they did nerf him recently, but they obviously want him to stay in meta, because they didn't want to butcher him, so they only removed his ability to hide epic monsters with his W, which is already extremely overpowered.
I think we can all agree that was bullshit.
Vision denial is just crazy, right? It's a huge thing, and not being able to see how low Baron is just insane, because you put up a bush on Baron, and then your support or you yourself throws a pink ward in that bush, and they can't see it no matter what, unless they throw like a Lee Sin Q or whatever. But that was one of his strong points. Let's talk about how he gets 45% CDR with like 3 items. He gets his CDR boots, redemption, and then Athene's, and he's at 45% CDR. So his Q's on a 4-second cooldown, his E's like on a 4 or 5 second cooldown. His ult, as soon as it expires, like if it stays the entire duration, he can summon Daisy again in like 10 seconds. If it doesn't die, if it just like expires naturally. So that's also pretty strong. And then what else do you have? His just utility from his shields because of the items he builds. The fact that all his items are cheap as hell. He'll be 3 items before the enemy jungler's 2 items. His ability to 3 buff enemy junglers very easily as well, fucks him over. His ability to like cheese gank as well as level 2. He just has everything, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I see you.
I also
feel
like
you.
to think he's stronger now because it's so easy to win games with a Fed. Like as long as you keep your AD carry alive, like you can win games so easily, and that's all Ivern is. That's the champion in
The
a nutshell.
biggest weakness of Ivern before they changed the jungle XP camps was that you can counter jungle him and get extremely ahead and just solo carry the game because you're getting a lot of camps, and the Ivern's doing like ganking or whatever,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
But now that's a terrible option and terrible trade-off because you won't get ahead with the XP changes, and everything's just like buffing Ivern indirectly, and he's just becoming a disgusting champion.
Yeah, that's one thing. I can count like Tarzan said in his video, which I kind of don't agree with, but
The one
I'll
with
just
Acadian,
reference
or?
it. Yeah, the one with Acadian where he said the enemy jungler goes and ganks and gets like a level off that, and then I counter jungle their entire top or bot side, and then I'm like 50 CS up on them, but they're still either ahead of me or like completely the same level as me, which is pretty ridiculous. Like right now, I don't really like it, but I can adapt to it because I don't know.
I mean, it's just where Riot wants to take the jungle role, right?
I mean,
Yeah.
if we're being honest, as jungle mains, it's like we're forced to adapt every single season. Now we're just forced to adapt a little bit more midway into it, and it's gonna change again. There's no way I don't see them keeping it like this, like completely like this for a while. Because I think the biggest thing about is like before was you actually had to efficiently farm and gank, which actually I took a lot for me to get used to because I used to be the heavy ganker kind of guy, and until I started to like really get the efficient like pathing going, that's when I started to climb. But before that, I was just ganking 24/7, and I was wondering why I was losing games.
Yeah, you gank like in lane twice, and then by that time I'm just like, hey, this guy's Raptors are probably up. Let me go get that. Oh, it's red buff timers on yellow. Oh my gosh, let me just wait 20 seconds. Let me get that too.
One thing I've noticed though, like counter jungling is still pretty important, but like the most important camp now is definitely Raptors. Like that provides a huge boost in getting ahead. Krug's not so much anymore because it's like really out of the way, and it takes
too
a
long
lot
to
of pressure off the map. Yeah, it takes a lot of pressure off the map when you do those.
It's like doing
But like
Red
Raptors are really good, important.
Yeah,
I really enjoy the Raptor camp though. Like I like how I'm not forced to just kill the bigger, the big Raptor. I'm able all the Raptors give basically the same XP. So like
yeah,
it makes it really easy.
All the small ones are worth just as much as the big one in terms of experience.
It's also really easy to get vision in that area, and it fucks over the enemy jungle. It's pretty easy.
Yeah,
one thing that I know though is like the ADC role is like insanely good right now. Well, it's not good, but it's in a way better position as it was like compared to like 3 months ago. Like ADC can actually do the last part in its acronyming to actually carry.
Yeah, I think ADC's in a good spot right now. Now, Elise and Lee Sin are clearly the strongest picks, and then you mentioned Kha'Zix, which I've actually noticed as well. It's like if Lee Sin is picked, I almost always go Kha'Zix because with Elise, I feel like if Lee Sin gets even the slightest lead, and really this goes with any jungler, it's like he will find me and one shot me.
Yeah, pretty much. That's how it goes. Like
Kha'Zix is pretty good at fighting Lee Sin at level 3 if you see him in the jungle early on.
Yeah,
which is good.
And then like you guys said, Rengar, and like I think Rengar's more like you have to have the champions have to be banned in order to really pick it, and it's definitely works because his damage is still like actually insane, like level 3. If you get your empowered Q.
It's just that Rengar versus Lee Sin or Elise is just terrible because they outpressure you early on really hard.
Yeah.
And plus the fact that Rengar gets countered by a lot of support champs that's played a lot in a solo queue like Janna and Lulu.
Now, have you guys experimented with any off picks?
Kog'Maw jungle, like that's pretty much it for me. And I guess Hecarim, but I don't know where Hecarim stands right now.
I think Hecarim's in a terrible spot right now.
Yeah.
There's not enough gold income in the jungle anymore.
Yeah.
I have like a 90% win rate on Hecarim on my plat one account, but that's plat. I just feel like he's really easy for like certain elos since all you gotta do is just AFK farm and I guess choose a Raptor camp. And Hecarim most especially is really good at doing Raptors because he loses almost no XP from it because it's W and Q and Talisman.
I think Nunu's pretty good.
I think the thing with Nunu is it's definitely not bad by any means. Just from playing it a couple times, it's like you really have to have like more of a coordinated team to really do what Nunu wants to do, because you can't.
Yeah.
Because I don't think there's a point in maxing E. So it's like ganking lanes actually feels so bad when you have.
I don't
like,
think anyone maxes E anymore.
That's
It's
what
almost all consume.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like ganking a lane when you have 3 points in consume. It's like, well, I'm not gonna fucking do anything here. It's like,
Oh, I had a Nunu who I played against him in solo queue the other day, and it was his Graves, and I don't know. I kind of felt like that was a really good explanation or a really good example of like what you just said, because he would just always go and counter, or he would always counter jungle only like one monster, so he'd always leave the small wolves, or he'd always leave like all the little raptors. I'm just like, this is pointless. Why is he doing this?
yeah.
And I just ended up like winning that game completely by myself.
So I do think, like I said, like if like you have a good ADC that you trust and like you have a mid laner that can apply pressure, then I think it's a good pick. But other than that, it's like I really don't see a point in playing if you're able to play Leolise, Kha'Zix.
I like Olaf. I think Olaf's really good right now. Or he's not really good, but he's in a good spot. Good enough to where you can actually carry, because he pretty much counters all the solo queue supports and AD carries. Like, up until late game, of course, where they just kite you. But other than that, like mid game, you just run them down. And no one can really stop you because your R is insanely good.
Yeah, honestly he's also not bad when it comes to fighting Elise and Lee Sin. From my experience, it's like if Olaf runs into as full health, runs into a full health like Lee or Elise, he wins the trade. But if both parties are half health, then he loses.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they both have executes.
Exactly. Have you guys experimented with a Mumu?
No, a champion is. I do not. I've always thought that Mumu was terrible because
He's actually pretty good. And he got nerfed recently too because he was too good.
Actually, no. Actually, no. It wasn't really much. I don't think it was that much of a nerf, because what they did was they made it so that true damage wasn't affected by it was affected by resistances before, and now it's not. So it's more of like a what's I'm looking for, clarification.
Clarity?
Exactly. Yeah. So I don't think it might have been a small nerf, but I've been playing it a decent amount because I love that champion. And it's pretty. I think it's pretty good. Only if like Lee Sin and Elise are banned, and you have to have like a Rumble top or like a heavy AP mage mid like Orianna, Vlad, something like that, where it's like you really abuse that passive because it is insane damage when you like land a good ult and then like fall by like an equalizer. Dear God.
Oh yeah, I see that. I see what you're trying to get at. And it was pretty good. Like, since the ADCs are pretty important now, because his ult's, like, it's game-changing. I don't really think that he's a good champion, because I can counter-jungle him, but now that the jungle isn't really based on counter-jungling, it's more ganking, I could see what you're, like, trying to say about he's a good champion right now, at least in the meta.
He also destroys raptors. Like, it's so satisfying to do raptors as a Mumu.
Yeah, it's pretty good. He's a pretty good pick into Graves, which I don't think a lot of people realize. Like, Graves may dump on him early game, but if you're able to just straight up avoid the snowball, you should win the game.
Yeah.
Unless, yeah.
Because really, the biggest thing that affects Graves is just hard CC, and it's like it's because I'm gonna say Amumu is basically targeted CC. It's like you use flash ult, then you follow up with a Q. It's like there's the counterplay of QSS, but that you're causing someone to spend 1,300 gold at that point, which is in itself is a little bit of a win going into like the mid game.
Yeah, QSS is pretty nice. I used that. I bought that item yesterday. Like I almost never buy that item, but in the current meta with like all the heavy CC heavy top and mid laners, like I can see why it's so good.
I'm trying to think of any more off picks off the top of my head that I've been messing with.
Probably Gragas.
Oh yeah, I'm that.
I'm
all right. Well,
trash
champion.
And Warwick as well. I think they're still pretty. Okay, and Shaco.
I need an opinion on this. Every time I played Graves into into Warwick, it feels really bad.
Yeah, I get you lose. You lose almost every time. Like, even if you rush Grievous wins, you'll still lose because his suppress.
Like fighting a Warwick with that, his E is insane. Like he gets kited out most of the time, but there's certain situations where it's like it feels like you just can't kite him depending on the champion you're playing. I guess it depends on your range really, but because Graves is such short range, it just feels so bad to play into it.
It depends on you can't 1v1 him. You're always gonna have to look to either like have the man advantage or fight with an equal man advantage that isn't one.
Yeah, I think I want to almost every situation. I want to say that like, if it's Warwick and Graves, like Graves wins the 2v2s, the 3v3s because Warwick's doesn't. It's his damage is not high enough compared to Graves.
The thing is, you also have to kind of like you win the longer trades because of your E. If you're able to proc as many bullets on them, like because Graves E, the cooldown lowers depending on how many bullets hit them when you auto attack. So if you hit all of them, you'll lower the cooldown immensely and be able to stack your E even more and get a higher amount of armor, which that plays a really big part into.
All right, now going back to Gragas, I actually don't think Gragas is bad. It's definitely hard to pull off in solo queue. I found.
Terrible.
If you need a tank, right? Tanks are obviously inherently bad in solo queue because you can't carry. But eventually, you're gonna need to play a tank at some point, right?
Yes.
If your top lane picks a carry, because top lane's in a good spot and carries are so good. So tanks, you don't have that many options. You have Gragas, Warwick. Warwick's not really a tank. He's only a tank when his E's up.
And the thing that Gragas has over most tanks is his base damages are pretty insane.
Yeah, but the thing is, even though his W does a lot of damage, you have to max your E second in order to get a decent cooldown on it. So, I mean, level 18 he's good, I guess.
Wait, are we talking about Gragas top lane or Gragas jungle?
Jungle.
I think Gragas jungle is terrible. I've
Yeah,
really
top
never
lane's good because
lost.
you can get W points in some W, but in the jungle you have to max E second and get Q first.
I've really never lost a Gragas jungle matchup like one-on-one because it's just so easy to 1v1 him. And then solo queue, everyone whiffs his body slam. Like if I'm playing with 200 ping and I'm able to dodge and read your body slam, you're doing it wrong.
Yeah, no, there's plenty of situations where it's body slam is easily it's pretty telegraphed.
No.
I don't think he's bad. I don't think he's amazing either. I think it's a very similar situation to Rengar, where it's like, hey, every other jungle is banned, and at least if I play this, it's a pretty good clear time. It's really healthy, and it allows me to gank early. I've been going Cinderhulk more often lately because like, if you actually get ahead of Gragas and you get like to go full tank, you don't die. It's actually really annoying to play against.
Yeah, it would be really annoying. Are we gonna be taking questions from like chat or anything?
We could if we have time.
Yeah, okay. What else are we going to get into?
Let's see. What are your guys' actual thoughts? Do you think this is a healthy way to play jungle, or would you rather see it be reverted or more balanced? Because I think jungle was a bit overpowered.
I needed to be reverted because at this point it's rewarding dog shit junglers and like not RNG but like a lot of really like it's a 50-50. It's either you're gonna get a kill in this lane or you're not.
The thing is, I think Riot's trying to push obviously they've been pushing the game in the direction of the better team wins, and for many seasons, right? Back in like season 3 is like if you outlane your opponent, the game should be over. You should win the game. But they've been trying to push the game into the better team wins, not the better person in a certain role wins. And I think that's what they wanted been doing, and they did the right thing considering what they did with the jungle because the better jungle doesn't win anymore. It's the better team. You can't just snowball and just win the game.
It's actually really true.
And you have to support your team as a jungler now, right? That's the role that they want jungle to be, a supportive role, not a carry role.
Yeah, most definitely. It seems like they really just want junglers to. They're really trying to put more of an emphasis on junglers being early game. And they don't want to go any further than that.
Yeah, and I think that's okay because that's what the role is, right? You're not supposed to be some late game carry who just PvPs the entire time and counter jungling.
I mean, back when I started playing, that's exactly what it was. Back when like you played aura tanks and shit like that.
Yeah, where you were just an Oracle bot and bought like a shit ton of, or a shittier support, I guess.
Yeah.
A better support, sorry.
Yeah, pretty much. And so I guess they want to be more offensive than that. And it's like no matter what you do, it's like Lee Sin and Elise are going to always be the best. There's never going to be a better unless they release a new champion with a better kit, which I don't even think is possible. Those two will always be the king and queen of the jungle in this type of meta.
Well, yeah, of course, in this type of meta, Lee Sin was like absolutely terrible. How many patches ago? Like, it was pretty much free low if you did because he was useless. But now it's like, wow. Lee Sin just got a kill on my bot lane. What's gonna happen now?
Oh, he's gonna walk into your jungle. He's gonna kick the shit out of you. Is what he's gonna do.
He's gonna take my raptors. I'm gonna try and
Sin's-
contest him.
Have you seen Lee Sin's stats? 40% play rate, 50% win rate. 50% win rate. That's kind of insane.
Yeah, for Lee Sin, yes, that's actually pretty high considering most people who play him don't have no idea what they're doing. They just pick it to pick it.
Yeah, that's actually like kind of disgusting.
Yeah,
that's actually just as disgusting as Ivan's win rate because look at Ivan's win rate is like 7%. Play rate's 7%.
And the thing with Ivern is like it's a lot because when I was playing Ivern, it's like it felt like almost every single game. As soon as I hit 3 items, the game was over.
Yeah, you provide a lot of utility for you.
And it's like you have to do some things as Ivern to like really to make it work. It's like you could obviously do a lot. There's a lot of mind games you can play with that champion. But so it's like Ivern feels like I'm surprised people are picking like Lee Sin over Ivern if Ivern's available. Because
it's just that people don't like playing Ivern because they don't like supporting.
You're not wrong.
That's like the same thing in Overwatch. No one wants to play the support.
I hate
Everyone
that
wants
fucking
to carry.
champion.
It's the same thing everywhere. People always want to carry, but they don't realize supports are really good, so they lose.
Yeah, they do. And I'm at fault with that one.
Have any of you guys? Oh, sorry.
What are you saying?
Sorry. Have any of you guys seen the Graves nerfs on PBE where I think they said they were removing like a mechanical aspect in his kit.
Alt change?
I don't know what's happening.
Yeah, so I think what they're trying to do is they're trying to make it so because the current mechanic is you auto Alt E, and what it does is it removes the knockback from your alt. You actually go forward. What they're doing is they're making it so that instead of going forward, you just stay in the same spot.
That's dumb. Everyone misses the combo anyways.
It's actually it's definitely not the easiest to pull off in a like you can go into practice tool all you want. It's easy to do. It's like actually a super easy mechanic to like really figure out. It's hard to put it to use. You know what I mean?
We'll link all my playstyle TVs when we doing this. The fact that they're trying to nerf something that's like so minor is making me upset because they just gutted Graves going into double AP comps. Like, I don't know why they're trying to do that. Nice voice crack, by the way.
Lamau.
Yeah, that's actually stupid, but makes me sad.
I gotta go fix my Graves earn page because I actually love Graves a lot. That's why I think I have like an 80% win rate over 30 games with him. And
yeah, he's broken.
Yeah, I've been running the same page as I was before. I didn't feel as good because it's like, oh wow, my top lane just died or my bot lane just died like 2 times over because the Elise ganked, blah blah blah, whatnot.
Yeah, but the 2% experience gain like really does make a difference in this meta, at least where counter jungling doesn't matter as much. Now it's like, wow, now I can counter jungle them and it'll actually make a difference, even if it's in the slightest.
Now here's a question for you guys. With the mid-season update coming up, with the tank changes and whatnot, Zack's getting changed, Maokai's getting changed. I think they want to make Maokai more of a jungle again, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not sure if that'll actually go through or not.
I don't think tanks will work in the jungle until they nerf Lee Sin or Elise.
And that's what I was going to ask. Is like, do we think that tanks are going to be more prevalent?
If they nerf Lee Sin or Elise, they will. For sure, 100%. But they need to nerf those champions.
They need to also take care of Graves because.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like, yeah, that's definitely gonna get changed for sure. Graves. But
you can just substitute. You can get Maw, and then like you pretty much have your old E passive before they nerf the MR on it. Like
that wasn't even that big of a deal in my opinion.
The MR given by E.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was whatever. I think the XP changes hurted him more.
Yeah,
so
no, it was
that's why
definitely the XP
you don't see
changes that made him.
hard.
Yeah, because that was the biggest thing about him. He was between him and Nidalee. Those are the definition of farm junglers.
Well, Nidalee not anymore. She's not that farm heavy anymore.
Yeah.
You know, if you farm with Nidalee, just like you waste you waste
You're
a ton
wasting
of like time.
Yeah, Nidalee's like more pressure jungler now.
Yeah, I do want to say though.
80 on her.
I see it vary. Honestly, it depends.
I think the highest level Nidalee players they still play AP. They do the Athene's Frozen Fist build, so it's like a tanky AP build-ish. It's alright.
I do think that if they nerf Lee and Elise, then we will see Nidalee. Because those are the biggest cucks of that champion.
Pretty much. Like, if I want them to nerf Nidalee and Lee, because I want to actually be able to play Kog'Maw jungle again. Like, I mean, I guess there's still Pantheon, and Shaco.
Now, do you guys remember the day where basically any champion could jungle back when like Spirit Stone was a thing? Would you guys rather see that, or would you rather have to follow a certain like because if you play jungle, you almost have to follow a set meta for the most part. You can get away with some picks if you know what you're doing on them, of course. But
yeah, playing off meta in the jungle is like suicide. It's like asking to lose.
So would you guys rather see a more diversified jungle where you could basically play anything, or would you rather see a very set few where it's like you know like what all the matchups are and whatnot going into the game, so you're not going to get fucking cheesed?
I'd much rather be I'd much rather have there be a meta, because if everyone's just playing off meta and you're a jungle main, supposedly jungle main, you don't know what they're doing. Like, there's no skill into that. It's like, wow, if they do something right, you win the game, or you lose the game. If they do something wrong, they win the game. Like, there's just too many things, or too many factors in that. And it's much better if there's a meta.
Yeah. I remember the days of Kha'Zix Pantheon Wukong. Those were fun. Those were kind of...
What about Shaco? What are your opinions on Shaco?
Fuck that
I'm
champion.
not sure.
Fuck that
Like,
champion.
I'm not sure if he's good or not.
I've seen like the high elo Shaco players. They've lost like obviously a lot of elo and challenger. I don't even think there's that many left, right? I don't even see Chase in like the top. What? Is he still challenger? I don't even know.
I'm actually not sure.
But I know he lost. Like,
I think
he was
it's
like
in Masters.
He was top 5, right? So I know he definitely lost a lot of elo from the Shaco nerfs. Looking at like the stats, win percentage wise, he still has a 52% win rate.
Shaco is one of those champions that has to follow a very set style. You can variate from it or variate it a little bit here and there to catch people off guard. But like once people see it enough, it's like they should know better. You know what I mean? Like the higher elo you go, that's like the less people get away with Shaco. I think in lower elos, the champion still probably runs hell.
I mean, I think he's still good because he can gank pretty decently, right? When he maxes Q.
Yeah.
They didn't nerf that part of his kit that much, so.
Yeah, they just nerfed the one shot, the assassin build. Like, not it.
Yeah, that was kind of dumb. That was pretty annoying. What about Evelynn?
Trash champion.
I agree, but what is it?
She's good in the graves, but that's it pretty much.
Because Evelynn's just more like 50-50, right? If you can get ganks off or not.
Because I know there's a certain route you can do with her where it's like you can, I think it's Raptors, clear your entire blue side, get a Scuttle Crab, and that gives you enough for a Hunter's Potion, Dark Seal.
I'm never able to have a healthy clear with Evelynn. That's one of the only champions I can't do it on.
It's difficult. I went to a practice tool quite a few
I think the
times.
clear is Raptors, Red, Golem, Scuttle, or some of that in one of those orders, and then you get your Talisman and Hunter's Potion, and then you go to your blue, and then do other stuff, gank if you can.
Yeah, it's like that's one of the few chances I feel like I'm actually forced to go Hunter's Potion on.
Yeah, definitely. You get really low clearing your camps early on.
Now, actually, do you guys actually go Hunter's Potion if you have the gold to, or never?
No,
never.
Very
really.
rarely.
Almost
I
never.
won it yesterday, but that was just because I was playing Twitch jungle, and
I would go
so
Hunter's
bad.
Potion if I like don't get my blue buff because I got cheesed or something, and I'm like essentially forced to take Hunter's Potion. Otherwise, I won't be able to clear my jungle.
I don't think I don't think it's necessary at all. I do it if I have gold for it. It also depends on the jungler I'm playing. If I'm playing like Elise, I'm not going to do it. But champions like Nidalee, Graves, it actually feels pretty good on Graves because it means that I can actually farm a little bit faster and I don't have to worry about my mana usage as much. But like I said, that's only if I have enough gold for it.
I think it's a waste of golden graves.
I guess like I said, it's very situated. It's like
Yeah, it's really big waste of gold. I'd rather get Hunter's Machete, or no, not Hunter's Machete. What's that one? Poacher's Blade or Poacher's Drake.
Well, okay.
That thing.
Let me rephrase it. I will never get it unless because one of my favorite backs on Graves is to get like a Caulfield's. Is that it? That's the CDR one, right?
Yeah.
Get a Caulfield's Boots Hunter's Potion.
I would
get Red Smite always.
Yeah.
All right.
Red Smite.
Prioritize Red Smite. Yeah. What Aviator said.
You just do way more damage when you smite them instead
true.
of a Caulfield. That 10% CDR doesn't help you that much early on.
Yeah.
It depends because you could. There's so many starting items other than the ones that you buy right when you get into the game. You could always go Red Smite with a longsword or double longsword boots. You never want to get red or like a jungle item unless you're able to actually complete it.
Yeah. Actually, I was scrolling through champs and I remembered something. So with the midseason update, they're doing 2 changes to Sunfire Cape and Cinder Hulk. Do you guys know what those are?
Yeah.
So
I don't know what the changes are.
To explain what it is, they're making it so that Bomby Cinder, I don't even know if it's Bomby Cinder, but Sunfire Cape and Cinder Hulk could now do double damage to minions in the mid-season update.
It's pretty dumb.
So, does that mean we could see, in my head, it means that they want potentially tank junglers to split push like Shyvana. Maybe Mundo, maybe stuff like that.
They want tank junglers to come back. I feel like that's what they're trying to do, but I know it won't happen because
people will find a way around it. People always find a way to play around not playing a tank, which I actually prefer playing tanks, honestly. As much as I love champions like Graves, it's like I'd much rather play a tank. But that's.
I mean, they can make tanks come back into the meta easily. They just have to nerf the carries hard enough. And I think it'll happen at this rate.
Would you rather see them nerf the carries or buff the tanks?
Buff the tanks. I don't care. That's why Last Whisper exists.
But the thing with Riot is they never do that thing where they buff everything. They always nerf something. Yeah, it's over nerf.
They always go for the nerfs rather than the buffs because it's easier to balance. And
with like the whole mastery changes, the power creeps up, right? Compared to before. So I guess they do have to tune down the numbers always.
Actually, the tanks are unkiteable. That's the problem.
Yes, I agree.
I don't know. When I see Lucian with Bork, Black Cleaver, and Last Whisper, he just shreds through anything.
That champion needs to be nerfed.
You're telling me you don't like just walking at a Lucian and have him dash around you?
When I see a Lucian Q a tank and auto twice, and I see just a chunk of his HP just disappear, I'm just like, oh, okay, that's cool.
It's like a good Lucian player can literally play around a tank and actually do a circle around him if he plays it right.
He can do it against Graves too. That champion's bullshit. I missed everything on this one Lucian. I was so sad. He's just so strong. I'm like, wow, I'm ENT. I'm gonna try and hit this Q. Oh no, I'll ult to get away. Oh well, there goes my flash. Goodbye. Didn't deal any damage to you. Only one auto.
Now there's 2 champions I'm looking at right now. I think one because they're Rek'Sai and Rammus. Rek'Sai, they're trying to do a mini rework on her.
I want Rek'Sai to come back.
Oh, I love her. I love Rek'Sai so much, but
she's so fun.
I know. And Rammus. Actually, I think Rammus wouldn't even be horrible in this meta because you just get enough for Moby boots and you just fucking camp bot.
You can one-shot people with Rammus. That's ridiculous.
And in the 80 carry meta, Rammus might not be too bad. I haven't messed with it yet. I'm gonna try it out because my team is thinking about looking to. Because I can play anything. I've been playing this game for too fucking long to the point where it's I just have a feel for everything. But I'm gonna stealthily put some games into it. I'm gonna update next week on that because I don't think Rammus would be too bad. I just don't think it would be amazing either.
The only problem is the Blade of the Ruin King.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, Blade of the Ruin King's pretty much the only problem with Rammus or any tank junglers coming back into meta. It's rough enough having a top laner that will already be fucked over by Blade of the Ruin King, but also having a jungler late game that's gonna make them useless.
Yeah. Going back to Rek'Sai though, if they do nerf Lee Sin and Elise, like Rek'Sai will be the jungler again. Right?
I think no. I think Natalie will come back before that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I guess she is more of a. She does have the more.
I don't see
style.
Rexon played at all, other than like the one chicks that play her.
Yeah, I can guarantee almost no jungle main wants there to be a tank jungle meta. Like that's what top laners are for, pretty much.
Because they got that taste of that carry style. They're like, wait a minute, we can carry now.
Well, that's the only reason anyone plays jungle.
The amount of 80 carry mains at the beginning of the season that swapped over to jungle, like that I know, is like way too many people.
That happened. Like I queued ADC jungle last season. Now I queue jungle ADC. I wonder why.
I'm gonna start queuing ADC jungle. No joke. I'm going back to
those are the only two roles that fit my playstyle. So.
Yeah, it's like I guess okay. So when it comes to climbing solo queue, where do you rate jungle at? And compared to the other roles,
still number one or number two because it's just so easy to influence.
No, actually, number two. It depends on what elo you're at. If you're in like Masters Plus, I'd put 80 carry up there. 80 carry mid.
Honestly, I'm surprised by that because hearing some of these high level players talk about like Tarzan, Akadi, and people like them, they're saying that's maybe at their level of play. I'm nowhere near that, so because I'm bad. They're saying that they basically put it just around support.
Oh no!
I think that
they're completely wrong there.
That video was just them being super salty.
Yeah, okay, I mean, you're not wrong.
It was a salt fest.
Yeah, it was. But I personally would not rate it that high. It's mainly, like I said, I'm bad at the game. I'm fucking D5. Kill me. So yeah, I find that interesting.
Wait, what was your question again?
As like compared to other roles, where would you put jungle in like in terms of like how to carry solo?
It's one or two. Because like Plat and Diamond and Masters, and I guess you could say Challenger, but Challenger's just like coin flip pretty much.
Yeah.
Like, it's pretty good. It's just, it depends on how good you are as a jungler and like what you like to do. It's all play style. Like, at this point, it's not as much knowledge as what you know about the jungle. It's knowing which lane you want to gank and which lane you want to camp and how you're going to snowball your lane.
It's still a skill role. Like, you can't just say it doesn't require skill anymore.
Oh, no. It does require a lot of skill. Just, yeah, you require less knowledge of like pathing and stuff.
Yeah, it feels like
not as important.
And in some cases, it's just certain champions where it's like, okay, if I just get this guy fed, the game's over. Like, if there's a Lucian on my team, it's like, if I just gank bot, get him 2 or 3 kills, it's like, game should be done at that point.
Yeah, well, having Vladimir on my team, like, wow.
Fuck that champion. Fuck that champion.
Jesus Christ.
Champion's broken. Like, if that guy's on my team, I'll even if he's a dog shit player, I'll still camp his lane.
Like, that's a champion that actually needs a nerf. Like, you should not be able to do that much damage. Like, with that, it's not even that skillful of a champion.
Nope.
It's probably
you can buy Grievous runes and it still won't do anything.
It's probably easier than old Vladimir.
Definitely. I mean, he does so much damage. It's ridiculous.
The fact that you can use E and pool is what my problem is.
The fact that I see like Vladimir's getting solo kills at level 2 makes me laugh as well. So
yeah, no, it's like that's a champion that should not be.
Their CD on their blood drain is just so low.
Make it stack more like Rengar. Get 4 stacks of that shit instead of 2. Is there any way Kindred could ever come back?
Kindred, no. They took away the healing, and Raptors are like broken now. Like if Kindred still had his healing, like that'd be okay.
How much armor did they take away from her? 7?
I'm not sure about the armor, but I know that the heal was the main issue with her nerf. Because since Raptor camps are so good right now, and Kindred was actually decent at clearing them last season, them just increasing the amount and taking away her heal just cucked her really hard.
Where are the past.
She still has a decent win rate though, so
She's still really good, or she's still pretty decent in certain situations. I just think like in the long run, she's not a. There's much better alternatives.
and she's like the only one. Like I think she's the best scaling jungler. So I don't think anyone scales better than her.
Yeah.
If she gets her stacks.
Yeah.
So I'm
Her
looking
ult's
at
really
it.
good.
I'm looking at it right now. They took away 7 armor from her, so she has a base of 20, which is actually awful. Like I'm kind of curious as to, like if that might it's not definitely not the lowest, but
But the
Kinda
thing is, you're
like
ranged, right? So it doesn't affect you that much compared to other
Yeah.
champions.
yeah.
It's not like you're gonna be running into the enemy ADC. You also have an ult to factor in, so like you really shouldn't die straight up.
Well, it depends on the early game because like I mean you run into Lee Sin and it's like, oh, you're dead. Like you legit can't do anything. All you have to do is ward hop, alt kick, or alt Q, or save the alt for when you what's it called? Use your alt. It's a bit annoying.
Yeah.
See, I was looking. There's another champion. I think Hydra's the last one.
Let's throw Mastery on there and get Boots in here.
Fuck that guy. Did you guys see what they did to Shen this last patch?
Nope.
They made it so his Q now does 100% increased damage to monsters.
Oh yeah. So that's why he's always clearing waves.
Yeah, so it's like does a lot of damage to jungle monsters now. It's kind of like where people are building team at on Nunu. I messed around with it a little bit to see if it was like actually worth playing. I don't think it's terrible, but it's definitely like, you can't play it into the big 3.
Oh yeah. You
It's
can't
definitely
play
like,
any big 3 other than the big 3 in Graves.
yeah. Ford, GM, Chevy. No, not Chevy.
Yeah.
Fucking Chrysler. I'm an idiot.
Zach's pretty good too. Zach's a good champion right now, purely because Elise and Lee Sin are pretty decent. And Twitch jungle is like, it's in the best spot that it's been in a while. Even though it's like
people have been saying it clears well, but I can't see it.
you have to rush. There's 2 different build paths, and they're saying like it clears well when you do the second one, which is where you rush Runons. Because if you rush Runon, you get jungle item and rush Runons, your clear is actually phenomenal.
Well, that and Twitch's interaction with the Runins is stupid.
Yeah, it's pretty.
I'm surprised I'm really surprised that they haven't changed it. Maybe because he hasn't really been like a top tier ADC because his lane phase is like that garbage. It's not.
Yeah,
but there's
kind of like
there's too many supports to really make up for it now.
Lulu's broken.
I just noticed I don't own Rakan. The fuck?
Rakan, it's like Zaya and Rakan. That ball lane's actually really good. I like it.
I think Rakan in the right hands is like stupid. Like I don't think a champion should have that much going on.
He's really annoying, but I don't think he's very.
I don't think he's that strong. No, definitely not, because his laning is really weak. So
He has a good game setup.
Yeah, he does, but he's not. He's really weak in laning. So
Yeah, because his Q.
he's definitely not broken. And same with Zaya. She's all right, but if you outplay her feathers, if you don't like, people are still new to her, right?
Yeah.
So I think that once people learn how to play against her, and not like stand in front of her feathers and get E'd for like all their HP at once, it'll be better. She won't be as good.
Yeah. Okay. So this is one that's like more pertains. It's more for me than anybody because I like this champion, Jarvan. Can you get away with going Moby Boots Jarvan?
I mean, if you can get ganks off, you can get away with any champion running Mobies, but
Because it feels like it's so easy to dodge EQ.
it is, especially with all the champs that are being played. Like, are you going to be able to gank Illusion with your EQ?
No. But again, I'm not gonna be able to gank with Elise either. Oh no, actually Elise can like mind game.
At least you can, yeah.
It's like EQ is like you actually it's going one place. You're not gonna.
Yeah, if your Braum cues the Lucian, then that's a free cocoon. And if not, just auto him, and then he'll end up proccing the passes. Like there's just it's all situational. You can't just say that one champion's always good into anything, even if you just rush Mobies on it and gank a lane, because even then you have to realize that, wow, maybe the laners are actually intelligent and they'll just dodge it. or their war didn't know that I'm going there. I don't really care for Jarvan, so I don't really think he's a good champion. But
I have fun with him. I think he's a lot of fun. But other than it's like I recognize that he's awful. I really do.
yeah, I know one decent Jarvan player, and that's Nidhogg.
Yeah, that's the only Jarvan player that comes to mind ever.
Yeah.
Okay, so I guess on an ending note, for people like us, and by us I mean me, where it's like you're stuck in D5 and you're looking to climb, like you were saying earlier, what do? Do you just gank one lane repeatedly?
You can do that. There's like three. You can do that. There's like three things you can do. You can gank one lane with an actual champion that you're good at, or you could gank two. Ganking two is probably the best. Like I usually ignore bot lane, but now that it's more bot lane based, since the meta's more bot lane based, I'm going to stop doing that. That's one thing you could do. The second is you could just you could flavor of the month, meaning just play the OPs, and then third you could just buy a boost from me.
Oh, yeah, but those are expensive.
Not really expensive. Not at all, actually.
Mm.
Don't worry. I'm a slave.
Just slide into those DMs real quick. But yeah, I think that's gonna cover it for us. I don't have anything else we want to go on. Do you guys have anything that you want to say to end off here?
No.
Aver, do you want to tell people stop banning Ivern?
Definitely pick up Ivern if you want to climb, I guess.
Yeah, I think I climbed like to D3 with that champion, and I got bored of it. It was a snooze fest. But I think that's where we're gonna end off here today.